about family. We are talking about family. We are talking about what? Family. Let's say again, family. I didn't say you whisper. Say family. There's something that holds the family together. And that's what I want just to lay a foundation this morning for a few minutes. Then we shall work on it. Why do modern marriages not work? What is ailing modern marriages? Because as a pastoral team, we are very, very concerned when we come across people who have been married 3-4 years and they are struggling in their marriage and they are wondering what's not working. Why isn't it working for me? And when I remember my own father and my own mother, who are, by the time they started, they got married, they were young and they were not even born again. But by the grace of God, they lived together and they died living together and loving one another. And in fact, they were getting saved later in life. It is us. I got saved first in my family. And I saw them getting saved. And I led my father to the Lord. My mother gave her life to the Lord also. But at the beginning of their life together, they were not Christians to talk about. Does that sound familiar to some of you? But some of the challenges, some of young couples who have been in a teens church, in the youth, in the Sunday school, in the youth, and then get married, you find they are going through issues and you're wondering, what's just not working here? Are you understand me, friends? But the all-encompassing thing is the statement love. Let's say together love. One more time, say love. Love is the bond that holds the family together. Without love, you cannot hold the family together. And this word is misused. My notes today are very scanty because I do not want to expand on them. I want to talk to them, to talk to you. Love is the bond that holds the family together. Many of us, we use this word flippantly. You'll find young men telling one another, I love you, or ninakulav, you know. Is there such a thing, Oscar? Nikaonekana fala hapa mbele. Nafikiri nazungumza shen kumbe najichongoa. Hata sichongolewi na wengine mwenyewe najichongoa hapa mbele. So you find it is a word that we are throwing around every here and there. I love you, I love you. And people are telling one another, I love you, without really understanding the meaning of the word love. Because if someone just feels some infatuation, someone feels attracted, someone feels physically attracted, actually, they are not even loving you, they're actually lasting after you. They'll tell you, I love you, but really what they mean is that they don't love you, they are lasting after you. So there's been an abuse of this word, so that you find even Hollywood and the English language has taught us that even people who are sleeping together and having sexual intercourse and they're not even married, they tell you they are making love. Then you wonder, how are you making love? Error. Thank you. That's error. And it's because of that misconception, the word has been misunderstood. But we need to understand it from the biblical sense of the word. Because love, God is love. Can we say amen? Let's look at the definition of love as it comes to us from the Bible. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, we find that definition of love there. Give me that in the NIV. Give me the NIV. Let's see if we can pick it up. We may look at both, but let's pick it together. What does it say? Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. I like that statement there. What does it say? Love never failed. Other things will fail. Money will fail. Empty words will fail. Physical attraction is great. But how many of you know, by the time you are marrying your wife and you are marrying that husband, they look different. If you continue living together, they change. Now this side, they are living in some cuckoo world. Can I look for some people living in the real world here? If you look at my wedding photographs, I didn't look like this. Believe you me, I was size 28 at the waist, 15 size shirt. Hello? My girlfriend was size 8. But now, praise the name of the Lord, after a lot of efforts, I look like this. I normally say, these are the effects of the wear and tear and gravity pulling on my body over the last 43 years. Now I look like this. Now, if it was physical attraction, there are some things I look like, I no longer look like. There's a way she looked like, she doesn't look like anymore. Am I talking to somebody here? Everything else fails. But the writer is telling us there's one thing, if you can work at it, it is called love. Love never fails. As you look at those words again, giving them to us again from verse 4, you will see, look at it carefully. What does it say? I'm still in the NIV. What does it say? Love is. Love is. Love does not. Love. Are you saying love does not? What do you get? Love is an action. It's an action word. You don't just say, I love you. And then you are like a statue. Love will cause you to do or not to do some things. Listen to what I said again. Love will cause you to do or not to do some things. It is an action word. Not only is it an action word, love is a choice. Every marriage goes through several phases, and you've had me teach on this. But let's begin with that. You have seen one another, you have met one another, you are so keen on talking over a cup of tea, cup of coffee, eating sausages, sharing, drinking straws, taking juice from the same glass. Praise God. There are people who are still taking juice from the same glass, sharing straws, which is okay. Praise the name of the Lord. You know, there's that phase where when you see them, there's a sparkle in your eyes, there's a spring on your feet, you feel good. Suddenly you feel excited. It is so cold outside, but you're just feeling warm. You know, you're just in a t-shirt. As long as you're around, it is cold, but as long as you're around him, you are still wearing your spaghetti straps, and you don't feel any cold. You know, we call that I am in love. You call it what? I'm in love. This that I am in love. That's a season. What many of us don't realize is that season normally comes to an end, and reality kicks in. And some of the things you expected are not as forthcoming as you expected. Number two, and the other things you did not even know about this person suddenly start coming up to the surface. To some people it will take 2-3 years. Others, unfortunately, it happens in 6 months. And you can find someone telling them, I don't feel the same way I felt before. I'm not as excited as I was before. He doesn't make me feel like I felt before. She doesn't make me feel like I felt before. So we are here, we are hung up on this. That time I was in love. I could do anything for him. You know, when the boy will tell a girl, I'll cross the widest ocean and fight, go through the thickest forest and fight the strongest army and beat up even every lion to get to you. You know that time. It's a fantastic season, but it doesn't last. There comes a time when he tells you, can you jump hiyo mtaro? The guy who could have fought the biggest, sahi anakuambia hiyo mtaro ruka, ama fanya hivi, zunguka utembelee huko na upite huko. You need to walk around because you cannot jump that gutter. Can I continue? The guy was telling you, I can carry you anywhere, but suddenly he's telling you now, you need to rush quickly because if that bus leaves me, because of you, you will see. I need to catch that bus. So and that time you are carrying a baby. Can I talk? You are carrying his baby in the stomach, another baby at the back, and a basket on your head, and he's just carrying a walking stick, and he's telling you, if that bus leaves me because of you. Those days of I'm in love, I'm trying to disappoint some of you because I can emphasize my point, don't normally last. They have got an expiry date. And when that time comes, you've got to make a choice. I will love this man. I will love this woman. Not because, but because I am committed to him or to her. I am making a choice to love him and to love her. Are we together, church? And this is what I'm saying. There are many things, given a choice, would push you this way and that way. But you must understand, love is an action word. Love is a choice. And that is, love is God's nature, because the Bible says God is. God doesn't fall in love. God is love. You see, with us, we fall in love and we fall out of love, but God doesn't fall in and out because by his nature, he is what? Love. He loves you. He loves you. Full stop. Are we together, friends? Let's look at that definition in 1 John chapter 4, verse 7 to 11 and see. Dear friends, come on, let's read together. What does it say? I thought we were reading together, church. What does it say? Dear friends, let us love one another. Why? For love comes from God. And everyone who loves has been born of God and knows. Now try and imagine. Stop looking beyond your house. Stop looking beyond your family. Let's start with you and your husband, you and your wife, you and your children, you and your parents. Because I'm telling you, talk about this, you are looking about that. You are looking at that person in India, you look at that person across the road, look at that person in another county. No, before you go very far, Jesus says, love your neighbor. Your closest neighbor, if you are a married man, is your wife. This side, they don't even believe it. Can I preach on this side? If you are married, your closest neighbor actually is your wife or your husband. Am I correct? Because the other neighbors, between you and the other neighbors, there is at least a wall. There is at least a what? But for between you and your spouse, there is supposed to be no wall. Can I continue? Not even clothes. For the man and his wife were both naked. I'm quoting scripture now. See, I'm quoting Genesis 2:25. For the man and his wife were both naked, and they were not ashamed. So there was no wall, there was no clothes. I'll never forget one time when we used to pass through OTC na Mtumba, ilikuwa inauzwa mapema saa moja asubuhi. Wachaga walikuwa those people from Tanzania, the Chagas would be selling clothes and they would sell pajamas. One time we were driving through with my wife and some other family, Kina Kioko, Timothy Kioko, and they would be selling pajamas. Hey, mama, I say, nulia mzee, aache kulala kama samaki, you know. Now I need to explain to my Indian brothers what I've just said. They were selling pajamas on the roadside. They were selling pajamas. So we talked to the women because they were male pajamas. They were pajamas for men. They would say, hey, buy this for your husband so he no longer sleeps. He should not be sleeping like a fish. You know, fish have no clothes. They just sleep like that. So your husband has been sleeping. So, are you aware between you and your wife, mnatakiwa mlale kama samaki? Am I offensive? Ninawasaidia. So how can you tell me, can I continue? How can you tell me you love someone across the road, across the county, in another city, and you cannot love those of your own household? So if we are going to love, this kind of love John is talking about here, can we begin by applying it to our wives, to our husbands, to our children, to our parents? Come on, let's talk. Let's talk. Put it up again. Put up that verse again. Let's read together. What else? Are we still together? Dear friends, I thought we were reading together one more time. Dear friend, let us love one another. Tell your neighbor, that refers to your wife, your husband, your children, your parents. We want love that holds the family together. Can we talk together? Are you understanding, friends? Because love comes from God, and everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. That's what I'm telling you. Why was it possible that our parents, who are not even going to church, could live a life of love and care for one another, while we who have been going to church, we are fighting and we claim we are born again? Divorce should not be a word being heard among us, because we are born of God. But yet, we are coming up with these 2 months emphasis because people who claim to have been born of God, who came to the counseling because they are born of God, whom we listen to because they are claiming they are born of God, you find they cannot stand one another. I don't like the shape of her nose. You knew that is the shape of her nose? I don't feel like it anymore. It was not a feeling in the beginning. That feeling, it's short-lived. Love is a choice. Let's go on. Let's go on. Put up the next. Let's go in the next verse. Say next verse. Verse 8. Verse 8. Whoever, continue with me. Whoever does not love does not know God. Why? Because what? The God you believe in is love. That is nature. And if you are born of God and you are a child of God, you should be manifesting the nature of your Father. You should be manifesting the nature of this God. Hallelujah. Am I talking to somebody here? If you stand next to somebody who doesn't look like you, and someone says, oh, that's his brother, that's his sister, they look at you and say, no, they don't look like one another. You've got to love in such a way that when people look at God and they look at you, the difference is the same. Look at verse 9. Let's read verse 9. We'll go to verse 11. Let's say what does the Bible says. This is how God showed his love among us. How? He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. Continue. This is love. Not that we loved God. He loved us and had sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. In other words, hey, God loved you not because you are very good. Tell your neighbor, Bishop is talking about you. Don't spare them. Don't whisper. You preaching for me. Tell them the bishop is talking about you. When God decided to love me, it was not because I was very good. No, I was nasty. Paul killed Stephen. Paul had letters to go and arrest and kill other Christians, but God still loved him. This is love. What's love? That God chose, he made a choice to love us when we were unlovable. Because when you are living together, now you preach for me to your neighbor, look for another neighbor, leave that one, or look for another neighbor looks like a believer, and tell them, neighbor, the closer you get to somebody, the more you know about him or her. And the more you know about them, the more you'll need to forgive them. You know, some of you think I'm an angel. I take the compliment. But if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you, angel? Which angel? She's going to, she'll laugh. What did he say? He's an angel. No, he's not an angel. I know him. He's a normal human being. Why? She knows how I eat. She knows how I sleep. She knows how I wake up. She knows the mood and what I look like when without makeup. There are those of you, all we see about is the makeup. You are made up. But there's someone who knows you without makeup. Talk to me. That's the person who knows the real you. Because you normally see me when I'm made up. My friend, I've been to the shower. I put on my best. I've sprayed myself with some powerful cologne. And I've done my hair. I look sharp, man. That's the JB you're in love with. But ask Mama Joyce. No. I know the JB without makeup. See, that's when you have to make a choice. Because the one you fall in love with is a made-up person. But when the makeup is not there, and you discover the hair you saw was not their hair, it belonged to a Brazilian lady. Should I continue? Niwachie hapo wadada. Niwachie tu hapo, eh? They normally say sometimes in Africa, if some African women committed crimes and the hair was picked for DNA, they'll say the killer is from Brazil. Because the hair is not local. It's called human hair. But where does it come from? By the way, what sometimes they call human hair is actually mkea farasi. It's the tail of a horse. But I don't want to disappoint you. Keep on wearing your hair. Can I continue? Am I making sense? This is love. What's love? Love is that I know who you are. I know your weaknesses. I know what you look like without makeup. Hello? I know you snore in your sleep. I know how you chew your food. You talk when you're eating. But I still make a choice that I will love this person. Romans chapter 5. It's not in your notes. Just bring it up, Johnny. Romans chapter 5 from verse 8. You find the writer. But God, you reading for me, what does it say? But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still what? Sinners. What happened? Christ died for the some of you come and say, Bishop, you don't know her. I don't know her. I don't have to know her. You don't know him. I don't know him. I don't have to know him. But love is a what? A choice. God made a choice to love us. When you're in marriage, when you're in a family, you've got to make a choice. You cannot keep on changing husbands like dresses, changing wives like shirts. At the end of the day, the physiology and anatomy of the woman is still the same. Dr. Ajit, am I correct? I mean, you think, I met a woman here, she's different. Does she have 3 eyes? The one you are living and the one you are going to, they physically are the same, designed the same by God. So you're just exchanging one same item with another item. Could be slightly taller, but the same item. You are better off keeping the one you have and making a choice. You know the choice I'm making? I will love this one. That's why I keep on telling young men and women, especially young men, stop fooling people. Say, I am married to the most beautiful woman in the world. You are a liar. You are a liar. Married to the most beautiful woman in Kenya, you are cheating yourself. Even Miss Kenya is always Miss Kenya only for 1 year. After 1 year, they must look for another beautiful one. She's no longer beautiful. So if you married Miss Kenya in 1976 like me, there have been another 42 other beautiful ones ever since. Eat your heart out. Stop cheating yourself. Hello? I married this woman because I love her. And up to now, I still make a choice to do what? To love her. Because love is what? A choice you have to make again and again. And even when she has offended you, when he has offended you, when he has hurt you, when he has not done what you thought he should do, you still make a choice to do what? To love him, because love is a what? A choice. It's a choice. And that's what many of us are failing to keep on making that choice. You made it once when he was still working. When he lost his job, you're wondering, how can I continue loving a jobless man? Did you love the job or him? Because these jobs come to an end. Careers come to an end. MCAs come to an end. MPs lose their seats. Presidents lose their seats or they retire. Hello? Oh, I'm married to the governor. You think he's a governor for life? Read the Kenya Constitution. There's no governor for life. After 10 years, he must go home. So what will you do when you want to be married to live in the governor's mansion? You be committed to the man, whether it's in the governor's mansion or it's in a 10 by 10. You have made a choice. This is my man. Love is what shall hold us together. Love is an action word. Love is a choice you've got to make. Look at that Romans 5, 8, verse 9. Look at verse 9. I want to jump on something here very quickly. Since we've now been justified by his blood, how much more shall we be saved from God's wrath through him? Continue quickly. For if we were what? God's enemies, we were reconciled to him through the death of his son. How much more have been reconciled? Shall we? In other words, now that we have come home, if when we are still his enemies, God still made a choice to love us. Somebody say amen. You made a choice. You made a what? A choice. Keep on making the same choice again and again and again. Everything in God's family is held together by and works together by love. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1 and 3. Everything, whatever it is we are doing, everything in God's family is held together and works by love. So that's why the writer tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, 13 verse 1, if I speak in tongues of men and of angels, but have no love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. In other words, without love, this speaking tongues, it is all useless. Verse 2, it says, if I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that I can move mountains, but I have not love, I am what? Nothing. Can come people tell you, yeah, you woman in red, yeah, you are born in 19 this, and you live this place, this is your address, and your father was the fifth born in the family of 12. But you are doing that out of hatred, out of malice. It's all useless. It's all useless. Everything works by love. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but I have not love, I gain what? Nothing. Whatever we do in the house of God, it is governed by love. And so it should be in our own families. What you do for your husband, what you do for your wife, what you do for one another, it should be governed by love. That's what holds us together. And that's one of the missing ingredients. We have got lust in the family. Come on, let's talk. Infatuations in the family. I love in the family. And then we are following these Hollywood stories where you find a woman who's been married 5 times, and every time she says, nobody makes me feel as good as John. John makes me feel like no other man. Shut up. It will be a matter of time she'll leave John. She'll now with another one called George. Says, George, you don't know George. He makes me feel more that. Shut up. It's not an issue of feeling. It's an issue of making a what? A choice. I choose to love this man. I choose to love this woman. I choose to love my children. I choose to love my parents. Some of them would have been nasty to you, but make a choice. Somebody say amen. Gary Chapman in his book, Gary Chapman has written a book called 5 Love Languages. I just want you to see how God has used them and how we can apply them in our families. And the words of the love languages that Gary Chapman talks about, the first one is his words of affirmation. Speaking words of affirmation. Secondly, is just quality time. These are simple things. Number 3, receiving gifts. Number 4, acts of service. Number 5, physical touch. They are there for you on the bulletin. Gary Chapman is a psychologist, a doctor, psychologist, and he's a counselor. And he says, hey, I found, and he's a Christian counselor, so he writes from the Christian perspective. I found this, what do you mean by language is, I told you, love is an action, love is a choice. This is a language you talk, because sometimes you can be telling, I love you, but you don't mean it. Love is an action. If you love someone, you'll do something about it. For God so, come on, John 3:16. You know that already. What does it say? For God so loved that he, because of his love, he gave. That's what about God shows his love, that he gave us his son. He showed us love by doing something about it. So if you love someone, using those 5 words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch, you are expressing your love in a way that the other person will understand, really, this person cares for me and loves me. Typical African. Can I talk as an African? I told her once I loved her. When I changed my mind, I let her know. These are some of the reasons why modern marriages are not working. You said once. When did you say it? When you are sharing a bottle of Fanta and some chips and sausage on Luthuli Avenue. That's when you told her, I love you. Praise the name of the Lord. If you're going to continue living together for a time, we need to learn some of these languages. Amen? I say, they don't look difficult. Look at them again. Words of affirmation. That's something you can do. But some of us, our cultures, like we said in our confession, I let go of past traditions and things that have held me captive until now. If our marriages are going to work, some of us have got to stop being Luos. We'll have to stop being Luyas, being Kambas, being Kambasam. We have to stop being Kikuyus and Ameru. And say, you know what? I purpose to be a Christian. I purpose to show the attributes of my God. I'm a child of God, and God is love. And if God is my father, I'll not be. Can I talk to somebody here? I'll not to be. Bishop Masinde, mwacha mila ni mtu wa, kuna mila ingine wachana nayo. Si utumwa, kuna mila ingine kushikilia ni ujinga. There's some cultural tendencies we need to get rid of. And just by affirming your wife does not make you a weakling. Does not reduce your manhood. It does not make you less of a man. Can we talk? And how God has used words of affirmation. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. Let's see how God has used word of affirmation. Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, read for me. What does it say? Husband, you're reading together. Come on, don't keep quiet. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Continue. To make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water. Through what? Through what? God uses the word, his word, to affirm us. Speaking positively about us. I've given you in my notes, Genesis chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. 9, 10, 11. The first time we see God talking to men, after the fall. But the Lord God, look at this. They're in together. But the Lord God, what does he do? Call to the man. What is he doing? It is not man looking for God. God in love is still looking for the man. He's still pursuing him. Man has fallen in sin. But God, because of love, is pursuing him. Some of us give up pursuing one another because of one mistake. Akinipenda nitampenda. You make a choice. Bwana asifiwe sana. Hata asipokupenda we mpende. God pursues Adam. We say what? Adam, where are you? When is the last time he pursued one another? Ama kosa moja you have remained there, kneel by mouth. Because they have made a mistake. Because human beings will always make a mistake. Look at the following verse. Look at the following verse. He answered. What did he say? I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked. So I hid. Look at the God's question. And he said, who told you that you are? In other words, naked is derogatory. Naked is to demean you. Naked is to lower your dignity. God is saying, I never told you you are naked. Look at Genesis 1:26. What did God tell man? The first word he told man. Then God said, reading with me, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. And let them what? Let them give me this in the New King James. Now NIV is missing my point here. But then God said, let us make man in our. Yeah, I thought reading with you. Come on, don't whisper. I know you. Some of you are struggling with this word, but you've got to receive it. Let us make man in our image, according to our. And let them have what? Is naked part of it. Look at verse 28. What does God do? And then God does what? Is there any cursing there? He's blessing them. What does he say? Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion. Hello? Then man comes and says, God, I am naked. God is saying, who told you that? What do we say to one another? When do we say it? How do we say it? Where do we say it? Those are important questions. What do you say to one another? When and where and how do you say it? Because there's some words you speak to one another that put the other person down. We mjinga kama mama yako. Let's talk. You are telling your own wife she's as foolish as her mother. How well do you know her mother? Let's begin talking. I knew you'll be annoyed with my message, but let's talk. Praise God. I've never seen such a foolish woman like you. How many women have you seen? Can I continue? If you have a habit of only seeing foolish women, then who's foolish really? If all the women you meet are all foolish, so you are comparing foolishness. Bwana asifiwe. Are you still happy with me or you are annoyed with me? Some of us have never learned to speak words of affirmation. I don't have time, but during the week we'll work on some of these things. Learn to affirm your wife. God as our lover, he's using words in order to encourage us, to wash us, to cleanse us, to make us stronger. Don't focus on the weakness of your husband or of your wife or of your children. Focus on their strengths and work on that to make them stronger. But you keep on telling your children, you are a cow, you are a goat. I mean, if your child is a goat, then what are you? You are a he-goat. I see at the end of the day, can we talk to ourselves here? Are we still together? Can we change our language? Because our marriages are failing because people get married to you, you get married to somebody, and they're always feeling small. You're always, we call it emotional blackmail, verbal blackmail. Sometimes you better even slap somebody than even just make them feel small because of the words you speak. I've told you a story of a man who used to call his wife a dog in Nakuru. Bishop Mark tells us this story. This man used to insult his wife every time. You are a dog. You are a dog. You are a dog. Until one time when they had a fight, the wife used the only weapon she knew, because this man was stronger. She chewed him up. She beat him and chewed. By the time the man landed in hospital, War Memorial Hospital in Nakuru, and the doctor in the, what do you call this place where people land, Marabi, casualty, came to examine him. He asked him a question. Have you been beaten by a dog? See, the dog used to call his wife actually manifested. And she chewed on him properly. Now, before your wife chews on you, can you change your language and call her angel, darling, honey, sugar? Okay. My mama just says yes, those words. Am I talking to somebody here? Because remember, Adam was given a creative force. In Genesis 2:19, it says, God created stuff, brought it to Adam, and Adam gave it a name. Am I correct? And whatever name Adam gave to this thing, that became its name. Hello? So even when Eve was created, the Lord formed out of the ground all the beasts of the field, the birds. He brought them to man to see what he would do what? Name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its. So really, what do you want your children to become? You have that authority, right from Genesis. You have that authority as a parent. Whatever you call your children, that's what they shall become. Whatever you're calling your husband, that's what he shall become. Whatever you're calling your wife, that is what she shall do what? Become. Can we start using words of affirmation, of encouragement? Even if the boss does not want your husband, you have, tell him, honey, listen, I know your boss has told you they are sacking you because you're foolish, but to me, you're not foolish. Welcome home. If the job is finished, welcome home. You are welcome here. Let him feel here. There I may not be wanted. There I may be rejected. There I may be sacked. I've got my sacking orders, but here I am welcome. You'll have a spring again to go and look for another job. But you can't tell me, unafuta sauti mjinga. Unataka na mtu ambaye hana kazi. Encourage him. There are some men here who are so broken because of words spoken by their wives. There are women here who are so broken because of wives spoken by their husbands. There are children who feel they can actually achieve nothing because of negative words spoken by their parents. Can we change our language? Love is an action. Start speaking positive words to your wife. She may be mono-eyed, but at least she can see with one eye. Celebrate the eye that can see. Don't keep on reminding, you know you are mono-eyed. Stop focusing on the eye that's not seeing. Focus on the one that can see you. Number 2, the language. Quality time. Quality time. Emmanuel, the Son of God, God the Son, he took time off to pay for our redemption. He was God. But Philippians 2:5, you find the Bible says that though Christ was God, now your attitude should be the same as that of who? Jesus Christ. God, who being the very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped at. What does he do? But he made himself nothing. Take the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a what? As a man. He humbled himself and became obedient to the death, even death on a cross. He took time out of the Trinity. to come and spend 33 years with us. Quality time. You need to make time for your wife and your children. Dave Richards normally told me, JB, you travel, but when you go back home, make time for Pasha. Make time for the children. Take time off. Take them out. This work you are doing, why don't you go one Friday, just sit the two of you somewhere, even if you can just sit, you just have some chapati na madondo, but you're just the two of you, where you are not, where the lady is not carrying unga, not cooking, not washing dishes. Someone will do all that. You just sit in your wili. Bwana asifiwe sana. Hata kama ni hapa tu mtaani Umoja, mnakaa tu nyi wawili, mnaangaliana, mnakula chapo na madondo na soda, mnatoka pale mnarudi home. You don't have to go to town. You don't have to go to Hilton. You don't have to go to Eka Hotel. You may not afford spas, but you can afford Mama Oliech. Let's talk. You can afford to take some leave. Just spend quality time together. Just get out. Bwana asifiwe sana. Am I talking to somebody here? We're talking about quality time. And this is a language many Africans, we don't know how to speak. But God took time. Time alone from work and other people helps to build strong families. Hapana tu kila siku nyumba imekuwa college ya mashemeji. Saa zingine waambia mashemeji, I don't know mashemeji. Sasa tutakaa hapa mimi na mama na watoto wangu. Mnakaa mnaangalia, mkigombana mnagombana, mnasameheana na mnasonga mbele. There is no spectator. Let's talk. Bwana asifiwe. Are we together, church? It helps to bring families together. Number 3, because my time is running out. Number 3, receiving gifts. Who doesn't like receiving gifts here? God is a giver. John 3:16. For God so loved that he gave. When is the last time you bought your wife a card, a dress, a perfume? Sister, when is the last time you bought your husband a shirt and a tie? Okay, let me begin. Do you know even the size of your husband's shoes? Do you know the size? Okay, let me ask. How many of you sisters, you know the size of shoes your husband wears? Put up your hand. Only a handful. The rest of you look at shoes. Does he wear shoes? Yes, he does. The thing he wears on the feet. Hallelujah. Nasema tena hallelujah. Some of you cannot buy your wife a dress. You don't even know her size. You never bothered to ask. You've never bothered to know. You just see her dress. Praise God. Am I talking to somebody here? So even if you brought a dress, it will be either too tight or too big. Then she'll be asking, who was this meant for? Then you're saying, it was meant for you. Are you sure? You'll begin another fight. Because you'll get another, then give it to somebody else. Are you buying it for somebody else or for her? Sometimes the language of just buying a card, buying a gift, buying a perfume, buying a tie, buying a pair of shoes, buying a shirt, talk to me, taking someone out and paying for it, it's a major language. It helps to bring people together. God learned it by giving us a gift. And he's still giving, even preachers are a gift to you. We are a gift to one another. Are we together, church? I say, are we together, church? Do you remember the birthdays and other important days to get gifts for one another? People love to receive gifts from those who value them. Gifts speak a lot. Number 4, as we finish this, acts of service. Mark chapter 10, verse 42-45. Jesus gives us this challenge. Jesus called them together. Let's read together. You know that those, I thought we were reading together. You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles, what do? Lord it over them. And their high officials exercise what? Authority. They want you to call them Mheshimiwa, even when they are doing things that are not respectable. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be a what? A servant. And whoever wants to be first must be a slave of all. Why? For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to do what? To serve and give us a life as a what? As an answer. Jesus came as a serving servant of God. You're in that house. Wanaume, mpo, hata kupiga deki, hata kuosha shati, hata kubeba sahani yako tu umekulia ugali na mboga, kupeleka jikoni ni mwiko. Nilikatazwa kwenda jikoni kama mwanaume. Shut up. Get out of that room. You cannot even carry your own plate to the kitchen. You cannot even wash your own cup. You are a major contributor to cockroaches living in your house. How can you eat? You stand up and walk out and leave everything on the table. And you find it there again tomorrow morning as a man. Let us learn to serve. It enhances for you to pick up, for you help your wife in those chores. African men. You have gone to work, your wife has gone to. You come and meet together in there. You sit, you pick a newspaper, start watching TV. She's come from work like you. You want her to buy the vegetables, chop them up, cook the vegetables, make the ugali, bring you water to wash your hands. You eat, leave the plate there. She washes the dishes, washes the children, puts them in bed, and you are still waiting for her. It's unfair. At least do some of those things. If she's going to make the ugali, you make the vegetables. When she's making the vegetables, you make the ugali. When she's washing the babies, you wash the dishes. If she's doing the dishes, you wash the babies. It will enhance even what you are expecting after that. You come and say, my wife does not obey me. She does not bring me water to wash your hands. Stand up and go wash your hands in the sink. Kwani huwezi kwenda kunawa mikono wewe mwenyewe? Ndaanza macha matundu umu. Sichemsha maji wewe. I like washing hands with hot water. So you make the water warm yourself. Oh, me, I cannot wash clothes. Me, I normally tell people, and my wife she's a witness here. Me, if I find clothes in the basin, me ntafua, na nianike, it does not reduce my manhood. She washes my clothes, I wash her clothes. And there are people who had me say that, they say, I cannot wash her clothes. Those marriages are not working. The people who had me teach this, they went out. Me, those marriages are broken as I'm talking now. It's called acts of service. Sometimes just do something for your husband. Do something for your wife. Amen? Last point. Physical touch. Matthew. Oscar, what's going on? Jennifer is saying I continue with that point. Nikazie hapo wadada mngeniletea sadaka hapa kuniambia askofu, asante kutusaidia. Umetusaidia hapo askofu. Physical touch. That's the last one. Nimeanza na handshake. Seriously speaking, did you say that you two handshake between Uhuru and Raila? Mliona what handshake did? Tell your neighbor, for me neighbor, si upeleke handshake kwa nyumba. Hii handshake. Peleka tu handshake kwa nyumba yako. Kuwe na nini? Handshake. Just shake the hand of your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, try this with your wife. Just shake hands. Handshake. Beth, nobody's shaking hands with you. Joy, shake hands with Beth. Bwana asifiwe sana. Bwana asifiwe sana. Do you know that physical touch between Uhuru and Raila, even the temperatures went because of a physical touch? Imagine what that would do. Some of you have never shaken hands with your wives. Hugs, kisses. I know I'm talking to an African church. I know. But, Bwana asifiwe sana. You know, some of you, can you forgive me? As Christ forgave you? Some of us, the only time we touch our wives is when we want sexual intercourse. Do you know that's abuse? Your wife may join the Me Too movement. You can touch her and hug her without intending to go any further. She just feels, you know what, I can be hugged and there are no strings attached. My husband can shake my hand without any strings attached. He can even give me a hug, give me a kiss, but no strings attached. But there are some of you, Bishop, if I shake hands, hug, kiss, no. That's an abuse of our relationships. Because if that's the only thing you are looking forward to, brethren, brother, sister, you're not in this marriage for the person, you are selfish. That's why I was saying we are abusing the word love, because actually what you're doing is you are lasting after your wife. Some of you will not come this week. But some of you want to save your marriage, you'll come this week. Did you hear what I just said? Look at Matthew chapter 8. I'll close with this. This man was a leper. Matthew chapter 8 from verse 1. This man was a leper. When he came down, I thought we read it together. Let's finish this. When he came down from the mountains, followed him. With what? A man with what? A man with what? Look at your neighbor. Tell him, neighbor. No one in your family that I know has leprosy. This man had leprosy, a contagious disease, communicable disease. These people are supposed to live in colonies. Am I correct? Doctors who are here, am I correct? Because leprosy was a very contagious disease. But this woman comes and he said, he knelt before him. What does he say? Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Look at verse 3. Jesus reached out his hand. What did he do? He touched the man. And he said, I am willing. And he said, be clean. Immediately he was cured of. Do you know what will cure your wife of her pain? Some meaningful touch. A hug, a handshake, a kiss without any strings attached will bring healing in some of your marriages, some of your families, some of your children. All your children want from you is a hug. Go ahead and hug your son, hug your daughter. That meaningful touch, it helps. It's an expression, a healthy expression of love. Bwana asifiwe sana. Am I talking to somebody? Look at this man. He's telling Lord, if you are willing, you can make me whole. Jesus goes first says, suppose Jesus stood there and said, I am willing. Beware, and he's moving back. I am willing. I am willing. Yeah, leprosy, I am willing. Pona tu. Huyo mtu hata asingepona. But Jesus says, you know what? To show you I'm willing, he touched him. I pray today, may you touch your husband, touch your wife, hug your children. I want to hear there was a handshake in our house.